Hello and welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer and astrologer and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Sunday and happy Easter. I wanted to go ahead and do a special post in honor of the spring weekend. You do not have to celebrate Easter in order to enjoy the video. What I'm going to do is I've gone ahead and pulled out two of my angel decks, my angel oracle decks. And I sew bags for my cards, so you'll get a chance to see this. I got a really gold, sparkly angel deck, and yes, Disco called and wanted their material back. And then the other one is like a messages from your angel guides kind of deck. And so what I did is I went ahead and I pre-shuffled and pre-pulled the cards. A few of the piles have more than one card. I was trying for just kind of one card each, but you might get two. Is that each of the piles would just give you kind of an angel message. I just thought that it would be a nice way to celebrate the day and kind of kind of just give us a little bit of spiritual guidance. If you are a frequenter of my channel, you know that I appreciate all religions. This is not meant to be a specific, religious base, but many of the cards do reference God. So it is a little bit more of a Christian slant, but again, whatever your belief system is, that is welcome here. And this is just kind of a way to kind of get an energy and have kind of a positive message for the day. I have 5 different items here. The first is a little bell. I don't know if you can hear that. And that's a little round bell. The second is a little charm from my charms bucket that is wings, angel wings. That's one of my favorite charms. The third item is a Moonstone Angel, and this is really pretty. Again, the lighting doesn't do it justice. So the third item. The fourth item is also another charm from my bucket, and that's the star symbol. And the last item is a magnet that says believe. So I'll go ahead and we'll let you choose your pile, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. Let me go ahead and we'll move our decks upward. Again, a few of these piles have more than one card. When more than one comes out, sometimes I just go with it because I feel like they're, meant to be, meant to come out together and be read together. All right, so pile number 1, you got the bell. This is really a beautiful bell. It's very melodic. And let's go ahead and see, what are your angel messages for the day? Ooh, you got beautiful messages. You got fresh air, and you got bountiful nature. And gosh, guys, this is a very natural scene. You see both of these scenes look like they're outdoors. It's a very Gaia energy. So the first message is fresh air. Your body needs refreshment from oxygenated air generated by grass, trees, plants, and flowers. Spend time outside today as near to Mother Nature's cradle as possible. Open your curtains and windows to refresh your home as well. And oh gosh, guys, I really love the purple in her wings because it looks like it's the same purple as the other card. And so yeah, that's pretty straightforward. It just kind of says, you might need to recharge out in nature. I know that this Easter is kind of a special one. Everyone in the world is still recovering. We're still in the thick of concerns regarding health and viruses. So it's really important. It's funny, just today I went for a walk in my neighborhood, and I have this normal circuit that I walk through, and on the path there was one side of the path that kind of veered, it split, and I'd never walked that part of the path before. And I went ahead and walked it today, and it was really beautiful. It made a nice loop, and it was new scenery. So I think that message really speaks to that. You know, sometimes when we're inside so much, you know, of course, when you go outside, you want to be careful, but sometimes you really do need to get out in nature. The other thing that I noticed about, you know, the times that we're living in right now is that, you know, with so much concern about, you know, germs and, you know, diseases, sometimes we really forget that, you know, it's kind of hard to remember that. I always like to say, because I'm a very big fan of nature, that we are not apart from nature. We are a part of nature, right? It's vital to us, right? You need sunlight. You need to see trees, and you know, and not to sound morbid, but what it is that when you go for a walk, you know, everything around you is living, right? There's no such thing as a completely sterile environment. You know, when you have allergies, it's pollen, it's, you know, it's everything around you is living, and that's not a bad thing. That's our environment. It's a part of us. And so the other thing that I like to remember is that when you get outside and get out in nature, the beautiful thing that it reminds you of is that not everything outside of you is bad. And that's important to remember in these kind of trying times, right? There's not everything out there is not out to get you, right? Not out to make you sick. It's actually, you know, there to help. It's part of your ecosystem. So yeah, so it's telling you your message, your angel message is, you know, get outside, get around trees, grass, and plants, and really enjoy the fresh air and enjoy the sunlight. And then the second card you got is Bountiful Nature. Spending time in nature helps shift you to a higher vibration and reminds you of God's infinite abundance. Go outside and enjoy a walk or hike with your pet. Meditate beneath a tree, garden, sit under the stars, or do some other activity to connect with the limitless vastness. My gosh, guys, I didn't even read that card, and tell me that. And look at these two decks. Seriously, how many cards are in each of these decks? And I shuffled them and I drew them and I didn't even look at them, right? What are the chances, right? What are the chances that the two, so very clear. I think getting outside and, you know, would really recharge your batteries. I think it's also, you know, the other part is feeling, when it says connect with the limitless vastness, like connect with just the openness, I think it is probably telling you probably have felt really cooped up. You've probably felt like you're in a small bubble, and it, again, I'm feeling a strong sense, you know, to that same feeling that I was feeling, which is not everything in the world is out to get me, right? You know, get outside and just feel how big the world is and how it's your ecosystem. The same elements that are in trees are in you, and you know, really find the connection of that. You know, going outside and feeling that it's supportive, right? It's supportive. So wow, guys, yeah, wow, I am really in awe of that. Look at that, 2 cards. That's synchronicity. Okay, so we'll go on to pile number 2. We got the angel wings. So the angel wings. Let's go ahead and read your cards. Oh, and see, you got two of the other deck in this pile. So first off, we got heart chakra. Love is the heart of the matter. Your heart is the center within your physical being, attuned most to love. It's safe for you to love and to be loved with an open heart, as we stand by with perfect protection and guidance. So this is kind of your guardian angel card, right? So it is telling you you're safe. It's safe for you to love and to be loved. And it's interesting, in the chakra colors, usually the green is the heart, but I always love blue. Blue is a powerful color. Now, the other 2 cards that you got is you got attracting, not chasing. Anything or anyone you chase after will run the other way because of the fears underlining chasing energy. Instead, attract what you need by sending out love, gratitude, and welcoming energy. Wow, guys, so these two really do go hand in hand. And believe me, I know exactly what you mean. You know how abundance kind of comes from not feeling lack? Like, um, if you feel like you are enough and you know that you are enough, you won't have to chase anything in life. You won't have to chase money. You won't have to chase relationships. You won't have to chase happiness. It'll just kind of naturally find its way to you, or you will find its way to it without so much, again, yeah, without having to chase it. But, yeah, so here it really is saying, your physical being is attuned to love. And in both of these cards, it talks about, attract up what you need by sending out love. It's almost like being receptive. And it is kind of a conduit. I see that where, when you put out love, it kind of like an oval, it comes right back to you. But it does say that you are safe to love and be loved. The other energy that I get from this is sometimes when you feel fear, right? When you feel fear of loss, or if you feel fear that and fear makes you want to hold on, right? It makes you want to chase. It makes you want to, because you think that you're not gonna. The other thing I get is that a lot of times we hold on when we feel like we don't deserve to have something, and that's so not true. You completely are deserving, and it says that you deserve love. You deserve love, and you shouldn't. The other thing is, you don't have to exert energy for what you deserve. What you deserve will come to you. Now, the third card that we got is, you got unlimited ideas. Your mind is one with God's infinite mind. Therefore, you have complete access to unlimited ideas guaranteed to bring blessings. All you need to do is take divinely guided action to allow these ideas to come to fruition. So yeah, guys, I really get the sense that, the other thing about, kind of fear is that you think, okay, if I don't put any energy towards this, then nothing's going to happen, right? It's like, well, if I don't chase, then I really will be alone, because nothing's going to come. I've noticed, and I know it's really trite. I know you're gonna fuss at me for saying it, but I've experienced it, and I know if you think about it, you've probably experienced it too. The moment you're not looking, the moment you are doing your own thing, right? Again, when you're doing your own thing, when you stop caring about when something is going to come to you, when you start following your own ideas and doing so. Right now, I really feel like it's saying, okay, just because you're not chasing something doesn't mean that you have to do nothing. Follow your ideas, and wherever you're being led to go, you'll probably get really engrossed in what you're doing. You won't think about this love situation. I am getting a love situation vibe. And then all of a sudden, everything that you want will come to you, because it's when you least expect it, right? Which is the way it always goes. But yeah, really pay attention to what you love to do. I keep hearing that really worn out phrase, a watched pot never boils, when you're boiling water and you're waiting for it to boil. But the moment that you're not intensely watching it, or you're not putting energy towards it, it happens before you know it. So, wow, guys, so that was your reading. That was really good. I like that. And yeah, and definitely, follow those symbols too. Again, I'm a symbols girl, and if maybe you get an idea to do something, with something that you see on TV, or something you see, out in the world. All right, so pile number 3, you got the beautiful Moonstone Angel. And you got 3 cards in your deck too. You got two of the purple. So let's go ahead and read it. So the first one that came out, and I'll read it in order, you got joy. Joy is the highest energy of all. It's the magical sense that everything is possible. Joy springs from appreciating the gifts within each moment. Joy allows you to attract and create your present and future moments at their highest possible levels. And then the second one is, you got blessing in disguise. What appears to be a problem is actually part of your answered prayer. You'll understand the reasons behind your present situation as everything resolves. Trust in heaven's protection and infinite wisdom to answer your prayer in the best way. So yeah, guys, I really get that, and again, it being such tough times right now. I was mentioning with pile 1, sometimes it is hard to find those little moments of joy. Sometimes you really do feel like it's just, just everything's going wrong and there's nothing to be happy about. But, and sometimes I'm right there with you. Sometimes I roll my eyes when I get the joy card, and it isn't because I'm not grateful, but sometimes it's like, well, the universe is like, be happy. And I'm like, I slept too much today. I'm tired. I can't go, I can't do the things I normally do that bring me joy. But here I really do think that it's telling you that the events that are happening, or whatever dissatisfaction, whatever's uncomfortable about the situation, really is a blessing in disguise. There's method to this madness, and it's interesting if it is related to current events going on in the world. I do think that when we come out of this, we're going to have a completely different perspective. We're going to start doing things differently, right? And that is going to be a whole new world. It is going to be, I do think that it will get better. But in the meantime, whether you're affected by world events or if this is other things going on in your life, it is, what appears to be a problem really is an answered prayer. It doesn't feel like it now, and it might be really uncomfortable. But I do think that it's telling you that there's little gifts in the day. There's little moments. I always say, I on my personal social media page, I always say that I have something called a smile of the day. And it's something that I saw that I did not expect, that really, it made me smile, right? And it's not trite things, like it's never redundant stuff. It's not, oh, I'm grateful for my family, oh, I'm grateful for this. Yes, we are always grateful for those things, but usually it's like something that I saw that just surprised me, something that was really inherently good that I noticed, right? And that is the kind of energy of joy. It's like, yes, times are tough and things are unpredictable. You might have other problems other than, the health scare. But there are little moments to be had that are blessings, right? And that they are telling you that hold on to those, enjoy those little moments, relish them, right? When those little moments come along, stop and recognize them and just hold on to that moment. Let it seep in a little bit, right? And feel that joy, feel that little spike of joy. Let it release a little endorphins. We could all use a little endorphins right now. That's a good thing, right? So, but I do also think that it's going to get a lot better. Now, the third card that you got are obstacles and blocks are lifted. Oh my gosh. Did we not just say, oh gosh, wow. All of your good personal work and your positive energy shift have overcome previous obstacles, and blocks are lifted away. You will now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. There you go, guys. Whatever blocks you experienced, there was a reason for it. There was a higher purpose, and then maybe later on, when you look back on it, you'll be like, oh, that's what that was about, right? But in the meantime, appreciate what you have. You do have abundance, and just know that the blocks are lifted, right? As very soon, if you're not seeing this now, very soon things are going to get a lot better, and it's almost going to be like that sacrifice was worth it. You ever see those stories where something bad happens, but later you see that bad event wasn't a bad event. It actually made things better. So, okay. So gosh, guys, that's a good message. I knew we were going to have a good one with my Moonstone Angel. That's always fun. I love that placeholder. So the next pile, we got the beautiful star. And this charm I relate a lot to the star card in tarot, but again, today is our angel messages. Okay, guys, in your pile, you got the regular 2, you got 1 from 1, but I do remember all these piles, I did not see the cards. So when I'm reading them now is the first time I'm reading them. Excuse me, hiccup. But I remember both of these cards popped out. So I just wanted to let you know before I start reading, all of the decks, even the all of the piles, even the ones that got multiple cards, this deck only got 1 of each, but as I was shuffling, it was very like, this is your card. Like, it popped out, like one card was like, boom, there you go. So let's go ahead and see what they were. Oh, we got relationship, and you got clearing debts. Wow. Synchronicity. Oh, and goodness. I am blown away by the synchronicities in these piles, guys. Number 1 got, oh, look at this. You got, I don't know what you call, it's got the horse has a horn and wings. So, a horn is a unicorn, and then it's a unipeg, a pegacorn. You guys, if you know the name, tell me. I'm sorry. All right. Please, I'm sorry. I don't mean to mess up your beautiful Easter spiritual message. I was curious about this from the time I was little. But that's a synchronicity, guys. Look at that. There's a lot of rainbow colors here, and there's a rainbow here. So, all right, let me stop giggling and get into it. So, relationship. Your primary relationship is with yourself and God, and every other relationship follows from there. Something dropped above me. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship, then snuggle more closely with your loving Creator. As you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. Wow, guys. And then let me go ahead and I'll read your other one, and then we'll get into your self-care involves removing the heavy burden of financial and emotional debts from your life. You already feel lighter and freer just by facing this topic and making a plan to clear present obligations and avoid future ones as well. Gosh, guys, I'm getting a strong relationship vibe. Now, with the clearing debts, Stephen said, removing the heavy burden of financial and emotional debts. So this could be a little bit of both, because we do have green in both cards, and that usually does mean financial, and it also means growth. But honestly, guys, that's a huge synchronicity. I was telling pile number one got 2 nature cards, and I'll show you again. But look at these cards. There's a good 50 cards in each of these decks, and remember how I told you very specifically your cards popped out? It was like boom, boom. This is your card, this is your card. To have a synchronicity with a unipeg, pegacorn, to have that, that might be a symbol that you want to look out for. And I'm not trying to push this as some kind of weirdo thing, but the message is very clear. Your primary relationship is with yourself and God. Every other relationship follows from there. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship. So you might be in a relationship where there were some heavy emotional debts. Either that, or it could be financial as well. You might be in some kind of obligation with somebody right now, and it's making you feel either stressed out or disconnected from yourself. You might not feel like yourself. Either that, or maybe you just got out of a relationship that had, I hate to say it, it could be something like a divorce. But I would say that any time, and I know it's not a common symbol that you see, but you'd be amazed. I've pulled cards the night before, and I'll be like, wow. I remember I pulled a card that had a ladybug on it, and it was the middle of winter, and I'm like, where am I going to see a ladybug? And then it was funny, I went to the grocery store, and that was before this whole nightmare began. But I went to the grocery store, and the cashier loved ladybugs, and she had a tattoo of a ladybug on her wrist. And I had a wonderful conversation. So I'm just relaying that as, I've noticed synchronicities like that. Like if you see the image of a winged unicorn, and I would think back to this message, not to put that in your brain, but it's just saying that, as you get closer to your higher power, whether that be God, whether that be your ancestors, your spirit guides. Again, this is more of a Christian-based kind of message, but get closer to your Creator. Your relationship with yourself is important, right? It is speaking of a lot of independence too. I always hear the expression, people saying, that they feel like the last unicorn, right? Maybe you feel like you're different than many people, right? Maybe you feel like you're separate. Maybe you feel like, again, I am getting a strong sense like you almost feel like you can't be yourself. And it is just saying that right now, don't worry about the relationships with other people. Either that, or if something is going wrong with your relationships with other people, try to disconnect a little bit, kind of make yourself the priority, and really connect with what you want, right? It's like, what do you want? And it isn't to be selfish or anything like that, but it's just saying, you have to lighten the burden of financial and emotional ties. I know in life, and goodness knows I'm not trying to preach at you, I know in life that, being in relationships is important. The obligations that you make to a spouse, the obligations that you make to your family. But the moment that those obligations start to weigh you down to a point that it steals your identity, or you feel like it's more about other people than yourself, either that, or if it really does get imbalanced to the point that you feel like, okay, I owe too much to this person, or I can never be free. The other thing I'm getting is kind of this, I'm seeing like this horse wants to fly but can't. Honestly, it kind of looks like that person's on their back, right? Like, okay, like you might have somebody on your back. I'm sorry to read it like that, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But in that sense, I also wanted to just say, to put the finance hat on for a minute. Everyone has been in a place where they might end up with more kind of financial burden than they intended. Everyone has been there. Don't feel like you're a bad person because you find yourself in that situation. The best advice that I've always seen for those kind of situations is that if you have several bills, or if you have several financial obligations, it's always good to make the minimum payments on, you make the minimum payment on everything else, but then put the highest payment that you can towards the highest interest. And this could be a payment that you owe to a person. It might not even be like a credit card or bill like that, right? So if you really want to get out of debt with someone, pay the minimum on everything else that is lower interest or obligations that do not have to be paid off right away, that you can pay off in increments, and put the bulk of it towards what you need to get off your back, right? And you'll be amazed. It is going to feel plodding. It's going to be slow and steady, but and then the other thing that I do see is that, this relationship, and of course I'm not here to give a relationship advice, but self-care, if you feel like you can't fly, or that you're losing yourself because of burdens or debts that you have with someone, I always think, and here it says your primary relationship is with you and God, you and your Creator, right? It might even, I do get a strong sense that you might be praying to God or your higher power for answers. How do I handle this? How do I get out? Or, how can I be me is what I'm feeling. But again, it says, you will already feel lighter and freer just by facing the topic. And again, get a plan. Get a plan. And then, get closer to your Creator. Just let it be your Creator in you, and really connect with who you are. And then you will feel safe and loved within. I really like that. You will feel safe and loved from within. And self-love there too. And your other relationships will bloom and prosper. And wow, guys, that's a really beautiful message. I really like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get too preachy, but I would look for that symbol if you do happen, because again, you'd be amazed. The moment you think, oh, okay, I'll never see a winged unicorn, and then one shows up, like you turn on the TV, or you see it while in a window somewhere. All right, so last but not least, pile number 5 you got one of my favorite. I really love these magnets, but this one, you got 2 purple cards and 1 star card. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, oh, you got my all-time favorite card in this deck. First off, the artwork is gorgeous. It looks like a Monet. But what do you desire? You now have the opportunity to write the script according to your heart's desires. Once you clearly decide upon your true desires and know that you're ready and deserving of them, they'll rush into your life as if by magic. And again, here I'll focus on that really beautiful that image. And then the second card you got is See Only Love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. And then, oh gosh, guys, the last card, and I'll go ahead and let me read all 3. We'll keep going. Deservingness. Wow. You are a beloved child of God like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus on your divine life purpose. Even if you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities, trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. And gosh, guys, first off, we've got 2 messages about seeing only love, right? And it even says that, you know, look past the mistakes, errors, and misunderstandings of each person and yourself, right? I do see, you know, it's almost like I am getting a sense like, again, you know, we've been in, and the fact that it says believe, right? You picked the placeholder that says believe. I think that I get a feeling, and again, we've been in some really rough times, and I hope everyone is okay right now. I know with the health scare and the economic crisis, it's really been a trying time for people. And sometimes it puts a filter of lack over everything. It puts a filter of fear over everything. And sometimes it's hard to see clearly when you've got that kind of chaos around you. But here I am definitely getting a feeling as if I am getting a little bit of a relationship vibe from this, but then I am also getting just a feeling like, you know, it's saying once you clearly decide upon your true desires. And then it's also saying, if you focus only on love and not, I'm definitely getting a sense of forgiveness. And I'm getting a sense of forgiveness where when you forgive other people, you know how they always say forgiveness releases 2 prisoners, yourself and the other person. So it isn't to say that you should forgive someone that is, has done something really wrong to you. It's not, by forgiving, you're not saying that what the person did was okay. You can still see the error in it. You can still recognize the mistakes, right? You know how they always say, you can forgive but not forget. But what it's saying is that if you do have to let go of, some wrongs in your life, by letting go of those wrongs, you're really healing yourself and you're healing the other person. And that release, that letting go, really gives you a clean slate to do some creative visualization, right? Because if you're still holding on to a wrong, or if you're still looking at a situation like, well, this mistake happened and that mistake, and it should have, and anytime you say it shouldn't have gone that way, right? You're kind of bottling up your energy. You kind of, in order to have things manifest, it's like you almost kind of need an open space for it. And if we're still, kind of circling the things that didn't go right, it's it is almost kind of like tearing down a building in order to have the space to build it new, right? But it's definitely saying you have such an opportunity right now. You have an opportunity to write the script the way you want it to be. It's almost like you can, it's almost like a rough draft of a paper. You can just say, okay, this was not working, tear it up and write it again. you can write it again. And, you know, and the other thing is it's saying that you would have a lot of force behind that too. It's like, it's saying that if you decide what you want and really kind of, if you shift gears and get yourself into a receptive energy, miracles will happen, right? It's like, believe, miracles would happen, and they'll rush into your life as if by magic. The other thing that I see when it comes to forgiveness too is that, and this is where I kind of feel like it might be a little bit of a relationship issue, is that sometimes we blame ourselves a lot when things don't go right. And that could be in relationships, it can be at work, it can be with a family member. But a lot of times when things don't work out, sometimes you'll beat yourself up and think of all the ways that, oh, if I'd only done this, then it wouldn't, you know, things wouldn't have gone so awry. But the thing that I've always noticed, and especially, again, you know, I've been working kind of long days, and I know this feeling. You come home and you, in your head, you start thinking, well, I did that wrong and I did this wrong, and, you know, if I only done it better. But the thing is, self-forgiveness is very, very important. That's one psychological aspect that I think we overlook a lot. I think a lot of times when we start getting self-critical, it really is a negative energy. It blocks. When you start getting self-critical, it blocks all this positive manifestation. It's like the universe wants to bring you this. It wants to bring you all this magic. But if you're criticizing yourself in your own head and saying, I don't deserve it, then it can't come. Right? And here it's saying very clearly, you do deserve this. You deserve this whole garden. You deserve everything good. But you almost have to forgive yourself as well. If it was a situation with another person, forgive that person and forgive yourself. The other thing that I see here is that, and again, I know that feeling really well. It's amazing how the context I always put it in is like, wow, I think of my best friend. And I think, okay, if my best friend had made the same mistake that as I'm criticizing myself in my head, I'll say, oh, okay, well, let me switch this around. If my best friend did this, would I be telling her that she was wrong? You know, would you give someone else the same criticism that you're giving yourself in your head if they had done the same thing the same way, the perceived, you know, mistake or error? And you probably wouldn't. But we're harder on ourselves than we are on other people, right? So I do think that it's kind of telling you that you might need to catch that negative self-talk in your head, you know, see only love. Either that, or if there were mistakes, either at work or anywhere else, try to see where, you know how the saying is, you know, the path to hell is, I'm sorry to use that term on today, gosh, you know, the path to Hades is paved with good intentions, right? So whatever your action was, or whatever it is that you're kind of harping on in your mind, you probably had good intentions, right? You did it you were trying to be loving and it backfired, right? And that happens. So that's another way that you can kind of try to deal with it in your head. First of all, be incredibly self-forgiving to yourself. Forgive yourself the way that you would forgive your best friend, right, for doing the same thing. And then, you know, try to forgive other people. You know, again, you don't have to forget, and it's not saying that any action is okay, but when you see the love behind it, right, maybe even try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. If this is a wrong that was done to you, maybe try to see the love, you know, in the situation. Okay, the person did have some good intention, but it took a turn, right? And then once you do that, once you do start seeing things through that kind of loving lens, and once you're forgiving of yourself, there's kind of like an energy. Again, it's like a synergy. The moment you forgive yourself, others will forgive you too. And then the same thing in reverse. The moment you forgive others, they will forgive themselves, and it becomes a conduit. It does. And then the universe is definitely telling you that, you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus on your divine life purpose. And what you desire is your divine life purpose, right? So this is almost like a circle. It's like, okay, see only love, decide what you want, you deserve it. See love, you deserve love, decide what you want, life purpose, right? Just, keep that on track. And I do think that, I know in these times it is hard to do that. We do, there's a lot of hardship out there, and it's been a tough road, but I do think that things will turn around very quickly, and what you need will come to you, on angel wings. All right, guys, so that was your message. Oh, wow, I always enjoy these. And we get through them pretty quick when it's just a few cards. And you see, you don't even need a whole lot of decks, right? We got through 5 of them without needing 5 different decks. So that's what I love about, Oracle, is that, with very few materials, you can see so much, right? But I sincerely hope that you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day. Happy spring and happy Easter. I will be back on Tuesday with the How to Tarot, and I hope I can catch you then. See you later. Bye.